Hi, welcome to Works in Progress, episode 4. This is a series where we show you how to take an empty panel van and turn it into a camper van. Okay, so just off the phone to a customer who's having a bit of problems with a heating system. It's been going on for a wee while and he can't diagnose it over the phone. So we're going to go and get it, bring it back, and see if we can resolve the issue. We built this a while ago and the customer's been having some issues with the heating system. It keeps on bringing up the same error code. Tried running some diagnostics from afar where he's in the vehicle trying to do it himself and it hasn't worked. So we've brought the vehicle back in and we're going to try and diagnose the situation ourselves and get it solved for him. So we've got a Truma D4E, which is the diesel version of the combi unit housed in the back here. It's a really good piece of kit, runs completely off your existing diesel tank. So yeah, we're going to plug it in, see the fault code ourselves and see if we can trace it back and see what's going on.
It's telling us there's a notification, so there's an issue. So if we go to unlock, it's giving us notifications, saying the combi code 563H.
So the problem seems to be mostly happening when we're running the electric rather than just running it off diesel, because with these combi units you can either run it off mains power when you're plugged in on your shore cable, or you can run it on diesel, or you can run it as a hybrid on mixed. So we're going to have to open up the unit and see what's going on inside, but before we do that, it's always really important to disconnect the van. When the van's plugged in, you get 240 volt power, and unlike the 12 volt power, if you're touching any of the cables inside and they're live to the 240 volt side, you're going to have all sorts of problems. So just to be sure, we disconnect and then we can go in and start tampering with the electrical systems inside.
This fan over here is the one that I've swapped out with one that I know is good, which comes out of a brand new boiler. The code we were getting was indicating a combustion air fan issue. So found one of our boilers inside and just borrowed the fan out of that. So that's the fan that was in that boiler. It's literally just for the combustion air. Swapping this out seems to have resolved the issues that we were having. It's a very strange fault. Only seemed to have an issue when it was plugged into an AC hookup. So when it was running purely on diesel, it was fine. As soon as it was plugged in, it would keep coming up with the alarm. Just before it started to heat, it would get to a point, it would then just shut off. Yeah, so we've swapped that out and it seems to fix the problem.
So this is our worktop that Dusty's been working on for the last few days. We're building it out of solid surface. We've used a 6mm skin on the top to try and keep the weight down, and then round about the sides. We've added some 12mm strips for a wee bit of strength, round about where it's going to sit on top of the sink. And round about the side skirts, they're made out of 12mm as well. So they've been rebated in, and then there's another piece coming across here with little rebates on the front. Now Dusty builds it all slightly oversized, he gives it a little bit of an overhang, and he'll glue it all together using an epoxy resin glue, and then he'll route it all down flat. It means that it hides all the edges really nicely. This is a 2-part epoxy glue that we use for it, and it mixes in through this nozzle. These are disposable, and it's got like a spiral down the front of it, so as it's going, it's mixing by the time it gets to the end, it's just one product that comes out. It takes about 15 minutes to go off, so it's really good to work with. You're not having to clamp it and then leave it for the day, taking up loads of room. So we're hoping to get this almost finished by the end of the day, ready to go into the van to test fit it. This is just routing out the handle at the front, so this will be the grab handle that sits on here, which you'll use to slide open and reveal the sink. This is always a really good part of the build because when it goes in, it's more of a finished feel to the kitchen, so this is always one of my favourite bits.
In our previous chat, we were talking about the furniture going in that grey van. I didn't have all the components then. Now that we have the battery, the multi-plus inverter charger, plus all the other battery to battery and solar chargers, obviously that's where it's going now. In here, I don't know if you can see it up there, I have my fuse box in there. Instead of using individual fuse holders, I've gone for the fuse box, which just saves a lot of space because it has 6 outputs, or 5 outputs that I can use. So it just makes everything a bit more compact. The battery we're using is the Fogstar Drift. This is the 300 amp battery. So it actually can deliver 300 amps. It's got a beefy BMS in it. So a lot of batteries you'll find will be rated at 600 amps. But if you look at the spec sheet, the maximum discharge is like 250. I don't quite know how they get the 600 amp rating, although you can only discharge at 250. But this one is rated at 300, so it is a beast of a battery. Yeah, so once I'm finished with all of these, I do most of the wiring in here where I can actually see. So once this is complete, we'll take the battery out, move it back to the van, and then all the connections in the van, I'll then obviously do all of that in here. That is so weird. It goes 10, 15, 25. T20 Allen key, we don't have one. Torx key, doesn't exist. T20, no. There's a T25, T27, T30, T15,
How many are we
T10.
missing? We're missing 1,
Yeah, but
2,
it's a T30.
3. Yeah, 2 of them are over there.
There is no T20. He's not hearing what I'm saying. In this box, T20 does not exist.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many keys you got, there is no T20 in here. Show me it. Where is it? That's T25. That's T27.
No, they're not in the right slot. That'll be a 20.
That's not a 20.
That'll be a 15. No, that's a 10.
That's a 10. Okay.
Oh, then there is no 20.
That's what I keep trying to say.
Why do you need a 20?
Because this is a 20. It's gonna argue. Yeah, look. 20. T20? Yeah? See.
Too big.
What we're doing today is we're putting these wheel arch covers on this California here. So we've already done these 2, and then the back one panel here. I mean, it's really quite straightforward actually. You've got like a slight, like a lip that you can follow along the sort of guidelines of your wheel arch on your van. So you just want a nice little layer just over there. Get some blue roll, get some nice bit of cloth or something. And we're just gonna go over this just to take any sort of dirt off that's gonna impact the gluing process. The primer pads, they wear out really quickly. So if you do one and then leave the primer pad on the side there, it'll probably dry out by the time you go to actually put it back on. So we're gonna do both of these. We're gonna prime both of these in one go. So we're gonna be doing the back piece first. Just get this out, just make sure we've got the right one. I'm just gonna line this up, just make sure it's the correct panel. I mean, I hope it is, because I've just fitted the other one, so yeah, perfect. Brilliant. So we're gonna put this face down so we're not marking it. Well, back down, more like. Get these 2 little sachets. One's an alcohol wipe and one's a primer. So we're gonna put the alcohol wipe on first. They're gonna dry out really quickly, so it's probably a good idea for you to do all of your sections of the van rather than just doing one, put it down, leave it, because that's gonna dry out really quick. So we're just gonna do all of them. All right, that's the alcohol wipe. We're just gonna put a little bit on the panel as well. You know, it's not like it's dirty or anything, but can't hurt really. So I just want a little bit on the insides. And then you're gonna get your primer. I mean, it's really already drying out on me already, and that's only just putting these 2 panels on. So yeah, I really would recommend you just prime and prep all of your panels. There we go. Right, and then we'll just put the bit of bonding on, and yeah, it should be good to go. Yeah, once you've got all your tape bits that are covering all your adhesive pads, once all of them are off, you can then put it to the van. What we're going to do now, you just want to line this up. Now, it's always quite easy because this has got like a little ridge, so I'm just going to line it up at the back here. There we go. Beautiful. Brilliant. Yep. So that's all on there nice and tight. We're just going to get a few little bits of tape just to put on the outer panels here, just to sort of hold it in place. I'd probably advise using this one. You can use masking tape, you just got to be a little bit careful, especially if you're doing it on a hot day like this. Masking tape can burn its way onto your actual paintwork on your van, so you've got to be a little bit careful how long you leave this on for. You don't want to go too wild, you just want a few just to hold this panel in place. And there you go, that's the rear wheel arch panel all done up.
Okay, so since we have had the issue with this Truma boiler, we've swapped out the combustion air fan for a new one. It seemed to be fine. When we tested it again, we didn't have any error codes. We now have Sue from Truma, who's come to do a proper diagnostics on it with a laptop, check for any existing error codes and to clear any memory that it may have of any existing faults, and hopefully that will be it. I think right.
It was that 563, wasn't it?
Yes,
that you
it
had
was.
recently?
Yeah, that was the last one.
If some of so the 563 has come up several times
Yes.
there. So what we can do is click on these others to see if again that's recognising the combustion motor.
Right.
And then
you know that it's
we know that is
there's a
it
pattern.
is.
Will it remember absolutely every fault? Like how far back would it go?
Until it was since it was manufactured.
Oh really? Okay.
No, obviously without a good 12 volt this boiler won't work.
Yeah.
Again, 12 volt power supply. 12 volt again.
Yeah.
His faults he's having is he's not getting the power to it.
Okay, that's interesting because he does have an induction hob.
Right.
And he's got I think it's a 250 amp battery, so I have a feeling he's running the battery right down. And then the boiler's tripping out because it needs power to run.
It's got to have a good 12 volt. The good thing is he's not locked the board.
Okay.
And then we're going to reset the errors. Brilliant. So
that was quick. Okay.
That board is completely clean now of any fault. So
fresh
anything
and
I
new,
do, anything he does when he goes away,
it'll come as a new.
See what's happening.
Cool.
Is this got diesel going to it now?
Yes.
Right. So
yes. So it's got water in it, and it's got everything
not
ready to go.
Not about the water. And
okay.
He's saying it's happening on when he runs it on diesel.
When it's hooked up on the electric, yeah. So as soon as it's on hybrid,
when you say hybrid, is he still running it on diesel and electric?
Yeah. No, on the control panel, it just says hybrid mode. Yeah.
Right, no.
Yeah.
So it's running through its tests now because we've got a green operation on.
Yeah.
So it's just running through its checking functions.
Yeah.
You've got your combustion motor there. Started.
I said actually so that's.
Yeah, it tells me everything here.
It's RPM.
Ah, right. Okay. Now the combustion motor's going back up.
Yeah, it spins up and then it stopped. It did that yesterday because I had the cover off.
Yeah.
I plugged it in, and it stopped, and I was like, well. Now when I checked the control panel, it was still clear, and then I came back and then it started again. So it kind of.
I think it's doing its check and then it'll kick back in.
Yeah. So it was just there it goes. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
it's quite fast. 3,000 RPM.
It goes up to 4,000 at start up, and then it'll drop down to 2. It's telling me that the electricity is available for it.
Okay, that's good.
But this seems to
be
working.
Okay, well that's good.
Fine. We've got no faults on there. As I say, on the report it'll show the customer that it has been due to a low voltage or the other issues it's had. Alright, so I'm going to stop it now.
Alrighty, well thank you. That was
no problem at all.
That was definitely.
And I'll email you the report through.
That'd be perfect. So Sue has just left. She has run a diagnostics on the boiler. It had a few error codes on it which related to the fan motor speed and the implausible current drain. Turns out it was the fan motor itself, the combustion fan motor. So that's all sorted. She's cleared the codes, she's run it again, she's tested it. So thanks, Sue, it's all fixed. Okay, stop there. What? What did he say? What? Done what bit first? I can't squeeze this through that gap.
Always a backseat driver, isn't it?
I know.
It's just like, I would have done that. I would have done that.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is really long, but I don't want to cut it off because I don't know how short to make it.
That is really long.
It's comically long. The hose.
That's it.
The hose is in.
Let's go down here.
Just needs to go down, and then these little poopers.
I've got a hammer. I'll get my nylon hammer.
Yeah, nylon. Oh, it's nylon.
It's nylon, mate.
Oh, no, it's not the.
Nah.
It's not the lead shot one. That's the.
What is
the control cable, so that goes in there. And then this is the automatic baler. I suppose no, it's not a baler. It's not a boat. Automatic baler. If the temperature in the van drops below like 5 degrees, this pops. So when it's closed, that's in. When it drops below 5 degrees, that button pops out, and it just drains the tank. Because what happens, obviously, if it freezes and that's full of water, it'll split the tank.
Yeah.
So that has to go in there. Hot water comes out the top. It also has an overpressure, so when the water gets hot, obviously it expands. And if it goes higher than 2.8 bar, I think it's written on here, it then obviously comes out the end of that. So this has to go up the floor. This has to go on there. That has to go up the floor. This is the water inlet for the underslung tank, so that has to go up the floor.
Yep.
And then there'll be another one of these coming back in again. The pump will be on there, and then the pump will then feed this, and then it'll be teed off from here for the rest of the van. So going up the floor, going through the floor, we need 3 pipes. 3 pipes going through the floor. It'll be the overflow from the hot water. Then we'll have
the
water pipe that comes in the side, out the floor to the tank, and then returning from the tank, comes back through the floor. So that's actually 4 holes, isn't it? This one has to be that size, that one has to be that size, and this one needs to be smaller. Let's chuck a hose through this hole here. Of course, I just want to put the door on and make sure there's enough clearance. That's fine, just check it for clearance. So you've got a bit of a gap here. So when this is closed, there's still clearance inside. And this guy, you also need to be able to get to it. Okay, so that's where it's got to go. Oh yeah, miles of space. Yeah, it's come through okay, but you lie.
Why you always lying?
From that hole that I've drilled, I've got like that much.
And then I got a box.
Yeah, so that will be inside the box. You stole my pencil.
Yeah.
Did you take my pencil?
On the thing, Corian.
Grab this one if you want.
Hey.
On the Corian, on the thing.
Oh, there. Did you take it?
I don't know where mine's grabbed. Oh no, it's
Cam probably took it.
No. Do you have to like cut the length off that though? Because if it's gonna start bowing and coming up and down,
I'll cut this down to length.
yeah, so it's only really gonna have like an up passage.
Yeah, so it's basically just gonna do that, and then it kind of just always sits at a bit of an angle because obviously the hot water comes off there and it goes that way.
Yeah.
To the shower and everything, so that'll kind of sit like that. You don't want to kink the pipe either, because obviously if any pressure builds up, if this pipe pops off, it's just going to flood the van.
Well, yeah, you definitely don't want that.
No. So that's there, and then I need to stick this one. This is the incoming. It's also got to go through there somewhere. So if I put them all in a line, I have one going out and one coming back in again.
Yeah.
And then the pump's up here, and it'll come into the pump, through the pressure vessel. I drill one here. This is the water inlet. So that'll be there. Okay, so we've got all the holes and stuff drilled in the floor for the water inlets and the water outlets and all the drains and everything. I'm just busy fitting the flue, which comes through the side of the van, goes into this port on the boiler, and then once that's all connected up, get in its final position, I can actually screw it down, and then we're good to go.
So that's all for episode 4. Be sure to tune in for next week's episode and to follow the progress of these vans we've been working on. As always, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.